In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what if Saudi Arabia formed an empire. Now, I'm not sure. I think the German Empire is doing quite well. I've only just uploaded, at the time of recording this, I've only just uploaded the second Egyptian series, or the second empire series, which was Egypt. Anyway, so we have Saudi Arabia, who wants to basically recreate, just Arabia as itself. So the first thing they do is they're going to be extremely buffed, and they build up their military a whole lot. So now they're probably stronger than a lot of the countries around here. They sort of, they go to war with some countries. Now, these countries are going to be countries such as, so the countries they're going to be basically invading would be, so Saudi Arabia would be red. The countries they'll be invading are Yemen, Oman, UAE and Qatar. They go and do these all at once as they feel they have enough power to, and they might as well. So anyway, they start mobilising their troops and they push down and cut off the entire blue team. Next, they want to work around pushing into Yemen, which goes, say, semi-successfully. They take all of North Yemen and cut the Yemeni country into two. This side falls and Yemen just collapses as a whole, as it's already in a civil war. Qatar gets slapped and UAE kind of puts up pressure. Eventually, the Saudi Arabian forces manage to capture Dubai and cause the country surrender. And now they become storming into Oman. Now, if you think this is going quickly, these are quite weak countries, and basically, these are really weak countries, and Saudi Arabia is really buff, so they're going to be able to do it quickly. Anyway, they all surrender. So now we're going to take a look at a peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, we're going to say that Yemen gets given to basically UAE, Qatar, Yemen, and Oman are all given, or basically all fully annexed by this new Arabian Empire, by the new Saudi Arabian Empire. So now we have these new country. Now we have the new Arabian Empire. They're starting to eye up their neighbours. Now, they could get some colonies, like they could probably maybe lay a land in Somalia, or maybe up into India. Maybe they could, fight their mortal enemy, Iran. But they decide to go after the next person. So Kuwait just sort of accepts their fate and joins in. While we see them now beginning to eye up another country. Now, this country is obviously, what it looks like is going to be invaded by Saudi Arabia, which is Iraq. Now, Iran and Iraq are not really at good terms at the moment. So Iran decides not to help out Iraq, even though that is their Arabians expanding. So the Saudi Arabians push up from Kuwait and manage to get near to Baghdad. They push up from in the north and basically make a huge connection of border. And they push over and cut the country into two. They cut off the Baghdad region, which is this region here. But they continue to swarm in from the north. Turkey, which is an Arabia who wants to ally with Arabia, declares basically war on this guy, and they come storming in from the other side. They come down into Iraq, and they take all of the northern portion of it. We'll then see some Saudi Arabian troops push in and eventually take the entire country. So we're going to take a look at another peace treaty. So this peace treaty, ignore the background noise, guys. So this peace treaty, we're going to have Turkey taking basically northern Iraq, like so. So if we just do this quickly, boom. So Turkey has northern Iraq, and the rest goes over to Saudi Arabia. Now, I think I'm annexing a lot of countries. Well, this empire. I think the Egyptian one I just did, it wasn't the great. It didn't look the greatest, neither did the German one. But yeah, we're gonna roll with it. So officially, Saudi Arabia establishes the Arabian Peninsula ally system, and Turkey joins in. Now they're both eyeing up Syria. Oh God. So Iran sort of plays a good one and forms a pact with Syria. This isn't going to go well. So Saudi Arabia thinks, right, we're not big enough to go after Iran. So they go after some countries over here. So they take Jordan, as they don't really need it. And Israel sort of joins the alliance, and they take Palestine off them. So now Israel has not got Palestine to worry about. We kind of see the Arabians betraying them. So the Arabians take all of Israel, and now they're looking pretty thick. So what do we have here? So we have finally a huge war breaking out across the continent. Now I was going to say Lebanon. Oh my God, Lebanon. I don't know. I think they're an Arabian. I think they're a Turkish and Saudi Arabian ally. So I don't know how that would go down for them. But I mean, I don't know whether it goes the best. We are going to have no Armenia, Azerbaijan, as I think they're currently in a conflict as well. So we're not going to have any of that. So we see the Turkish, or we see the Arabian alliance declare war on these three countries here. Now, Iran is probably, I don't know, Turkey's expanded down to Iraq, so they've got more land. They could both be sort of similar power. But for this video, we're going to say Turkey is not as strong as Iran, otherwise it would sort of mess up the video. So, let's get right into it. So, instantly we see Saudi Arabia push up and take Yemen, and push into the south and take Damascus from Syria. The two giants come clashing in, and Syria collapses as a whole. Now we're just focusing on here. Problem is that there are mountains literally all along here. It's going to be hard for them to traverse them. So the Saudi Arabians do what they can, but they use to their advantage. They have this area here. They've got practically all of this coast, which is down here, to basically land off on. And that's what they do. So they make a landing on the Iranian Peninsula and manage to take, or make like some sort of spearhead looking thing, and push round and cut off this area here. The area collapses as a whole, and they're now storming up into central Iran. They now begin to push round and capture the full coast of Iran, as Turkey pushes into the north and takes the entire northern region. They push across from the Iraqi border, and this is the new Omani front line. It's kind of ugly, I know. So we see the Turkish push in with Saudi Arabians, and now Saudi Arabians have formed a spearhead to get to Tehran. The Turkish move around the coast a bit, but Iran has now moved all of its troops out of this part of Iran to focus on the Tehranian region. So basically, they do a tactic where they lead their troops over here and manage to push back the Saudi Arabians, but they juke them as they also come back and push back the Turkish. After pushing them back, they manage to cut the Turkish front away from the Arabians, and as well they've done good as a whole. But they forgot the Arabians are still right next to them, and they have barely any troops on that front line, which causes them to slip up and eventually lose everything they just took. Now they get surrounded. Eventually the city of Tehran is under siege. After a month-long siege, the city surrenders, and Iran is capitulated. Damn, that was a quick war. So we are now going to take a look at a... This always looks ugly, this bit. So now we're going to basically take a look at a peace treaty here. So peace treaty-wise, we have Turkey gaining, I'd say, a lot of Syria. They gain They do not gain the capital of Syria, as that goes over to Saudi Arabia. But they gain quite a lot of it, and Syria is just broken up as a whole. We then have a basically new government, which is now new Syrian, not really new Syrian government, but look, Saudi Arabia, if I colour them in now as green, as say, I don't know, red, they are huge. I'd say they had probably, I don't know, down to about their borders here and along here. So they've gained all that land. They've gained a lot of stuff. And it doesn't make them look better, the new Arabian and United Peninsula. Now, we haven't even spoke about Iran yet. So, Turkey gains a lot of their sort of northern half, as this is the place they were. But the thing is, though, a lot of this is just mountains, so I don't see the point in this. And Saudi Arabia gains, let's say, I'm not going to say a lot of land, because it doesn't seem a lot. And there's mountains there as well. But they gain some land. Now we see a new Iranian Republic be formed, which is the new state of Iran. And this could technically come under as a Saudi Arabian puppet. So now they have the Arabian puppet, they're just sort of off the map. And Arabia is basically getting ready to do some stuff down here. Now, their expansion is, they say that their final expansion, as they've kind of got nowhere really else to go. They can't invade Iran again, and they don't want to invade Turkey, so that's their only ally they pretty much have, which is Turkey. So, what do? Now, they decide to go and do some stuff in Africa. So, they sort of, they do some stuff that Ethiopia doesn't like, and activate some sort of treaty. Now, this isn't fictional one bit, as when have you ever going to see Ethiopia and Egypt on the same team? Like, never. Now, Turkey doesn't help out in this war, so they're not really going to gain anything. But, I mean, could they? No, Turkey doesn't gain anything, as they can't really help out. So, this basically makes it so now what we have is Saudi Arabia versus all of these countries here. That was the voice crack. So we have Saudi Arabian versus basically all these countries here. Now these countries are quite powerful. Not necessarily you guys. Apart from that, they're all right. They're not that powerful. But Egypt and Ethiopia are the most powerful on this part here. So we see Saudi Arabia now eye up, and they land and take Djibouti with ease. They push into Ethiopia and crack down on Somaliland. Somaliland breaks away as a whole, and basically Ethiopia or Egypt, not Egypt, I keep saying wrong. Saudi Arabia basically promises them independence, but that is a lie. They're not going to give them independence. They push up the coast of Eritrea and manage to pretty much completely capitulate the country. And now they've basically taken a lot of Saudi Arabia. They push down the Somalian coast and manage to capitulate the country. And Saudi Arabia, as Ethiopian troops arrive. They then also push into the Suez Canal and take the area of ease. And now move along and capture Alexandria, Port Said, and push down and capture Cairo. After capturing Cairo, they sort of establish some sort of empire-looking thing they're going to grab. And the rest of, I'd say probably, if you were going to go to a place, this is just, this is desert, literally. All of this is desert. So I don't see the point of them invading it, but they do it anyway. So they push down through the desert and make a landing on the coast and make some sort of really thick looking front to sort of invade the rest. They now dart across and take African parts of land. And now that Egypt is gone, the strongest country, I'd say, probably outside of Nigeria, the strongest country in this alliance is now gone. And now we just have Ethiopia and Sudan. I wonder how else it's going to go. So Ethiopia loses a lot of its sort of quarter land in exchange for them managing to completely push out the Saudi Arabians from the northern half. The Sudani troops arrive and do manage to push back the Saudi Arabians, as this front is quite weak at the moment, as it's desert, and the Saudi Arabians, they do live in the desert, but all of this isn't really desert now. I mean, this part is, this part isn't. This is their new sort of empire. So, Ethiopia, now focusing on this front, manages to cut up and take the panhandle of Eritrea and completely capitulate the country and push through and take Djibouti. This does come at a really heavy cost, as they lose a lot more land down the south and lose Addis Ababa. With this, their country is sent to shambles, which causes the reorganisation of their troops, and Saudi Arabian troops storm in. They take the countries, obviously they've taken Addis Ababa, and the country surrenders. Oh, poor Sudan. So what do we see? So we see some full-scale invasion into Sudan, which doesn't go well, and the entire country is now at the bottom of the ocean. Wonder how that happened. So now that this has happened, we are going to finally see a peace treaty. So, peace treaty-wise, we're going to say this is given... No, that's kind of ugly. That's ugly as well. That's just taking away their coast and now knocking them. I'll say this is given to... So I'm going to say this is quite like the Egyptian video. It looks quite like it. But this land is given to Saudi Arabia. We have a new Egyptian republic being formed. And we also have some other stuff. So Somalia is basically taking a lot of land away from it. Somaliland doesn't get independence, which infuriates them. But Djibouti is now also a colony of these guys. They kind of want to punish Ethiopia, so they take, I wouldn't say a big amount of land, but they extend some borders out. They don't take land barely at all, but they extend their borders with Ethiopia out, so Ethiopia has kind of a bit of less land, but it's not near Addis Ababa, Addis Ababa is now here, which is dangerously close, because they in the future could invade there from up there as well. As this new Somalian republic is very unstable. So, if we look now at the new Saudi Arabian Empire, this is our result. So, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord server, which will be in the link in the description.